Come on, Tony. Come on.
Stop pretending Silvio Dante is the good guy of the crew. He's the show's most charming monster, and the evidence is impossible to ignore. Silvio Dante inspires a particular kind of unease, a chill that arrives not from overt brutality, but from the dissonance between the affable facade and the abyss sitting quietly beneath it. In a series overflowing with volatile egotists, Silvio's charm is the great misdirection. He is the congenial consigliere, the man who keeps the trains running on time, the one who smooths over conflicts with diplomatic calm.
Anyway, we flew first class. What service? Forget about it.
Since when do you get frequent flyer upgrade?
He is comic relief, the level head, the supposedly safe pair of hands. And then, with no warning whatsoever, he peels back the skin of that persona and reveals something far colder. A man perfectly capable of cruelty, delivered with clinical detachment, and on some occasions, with an unmistakable flicker of satisfaction. The brutality is sporadic enough that it rattles. The beating of Tracy in broad daylight, an event so vicious it briefly disfigures the entire illusion of who he is supposed to be, jolts the viewer precisely because there is no build-up, no escalation, no cracking under pressure. He simply flips a switch. The same is true in the infamous drive with Adriana. No histrionics, no sadism in the traditional Ralph Cifaretto sense. Just a calm professional, carrying out his assignment with a chilling lack of internal conflict. The audience, accustomed to Silvio the entertainer, Silvio the loyal consigliere, watches the woods close in around the car, and finally sees the point David Chase had been quietly hammering home. Charm, humor, and competence are merely the velvet casing around a deeply inhumane core. The scene succeeds as one of the most devastating moments of the series precisely because Silvio is the executioner. If a more openly vicious figure, Patsy, Polly, or any other soldier, had taken the wheel, the outcome would have been obvious from the first frame. Silvio's involvement keeps the viewer suspended in false hope. Even Adriana herself feels safe, lulled into calm by the man whose entire persona hinges on appearing reasonable. The betrayal is personal, because the show has spent years coaxing the audience into liking him. The mask slips only long enough to shatter that illusion, and then it slid neatly back into place.
What do? Don't engage Silvio in conversation. He can be a sick fuck when he's gambling.
It helps, of course, that Silvio's moral rot is usually delivered in small, palatable doses. A tantrum at a soccer game, the petulant rage at a card table, a quiet threat to keep a construction site in line, occasional eruptions of venom directed at any woman who inconveniences him, and, lest one forget, the routine exploitation of women whose labor, bodies, and debt obligations provide him a steady revenue stream. The polite term is loan sharking. The accurate one is sex trafficking. Women like Tracy live under the fiction of choice, but the debts, the dependency, and the implied violence reveal a system of indentured servitude dressed up as opportunity. The show never needs to sermonize about it. The mechanisms speak for themselves. Under Silvio's management, the Bada Bing resembles less a business and more a plantation with neon lighting. What makes Silvio particularly unnerving is that he never advertises himself as a monster. Others do the audience the courtesy of telegraphing their depravity. Ralph revels in his. Richie bathes in it. Tony at least acknowledges he possesses two selves clawing at each other. Silvio maintains the illusion of equilibrium. He is the old-school mafioso, legitimate businessman by day, family man at night, ruthless operator in between, the consummate professional, the unflappable advisor, the man who avoids theatrics and therefore seems, to some viewers, to possess a kind of moral distance from the worst acts of the crew. But the ledger tells another story.
I've been sick, Sil.
Oh, yeah? I called your house.
He enforces debt with physical abuse. He ensures women who attempt independence are dragged back into line.
Sorry to bother you down there. This thing isn't working out the way we hoped. You know, with our friend with the funny...
He orchestrates the killings that must be executed cleanly, without error, without conscience. He is the trusted blade, the one deployed when failure is not an option. And like any well-crafted blade, he has no feelings about its use. The show delights in revealing this contradiction. Just when the audience decides he's the reasonable one, he turns feral in a parking lot. Just when he seems the gentle conciliary keeping Tony grounded, he becomes the cold assassin in the woods. Just when his domestic scenes create the illusion of normalcy, the narrative reminds us that even the stable marriages in this universe are buoyed by income extracted through coercion, misogyny, and violence. His kindness is always transactional. His loyalty is always conditional. His humor is a lubricant for the machinery of exploitation. Silvio also serves as a narrative corrective to the recurring viewer fantasy that some of these men are salvageable. Chase never intended audiences to lionize these characters, yet audiences inevitably do. Silvio is the perfect instrument for puncturing that illusion. Adriana's murder is the precise moment when the series stops allowing the viewer to hide behind the comforting distance of mob-on-mob violence. The killing is personal, senseless, and stripped of any gesture toward honor or necessity. It is the ugliest truth of the show. The men who charm, who entertain, who feel like old friends, will do unspeakable things without hesitation. The brutality is not an aberration, it is the job description. Even within the crew, Silvio's capacity for compartmentalization is legendary. He can express revulsion at one killing and perform another with perfect efficiency. He can advise Tony on managing crises, then behave like a predator toward the women he controls. He can be an enforcer, a mediator, a family man, a comedian, a sadist, and a diplomat, each personality shelved and unshelved with the mechanical ease of a man who has been doing this his entire adult life. He is the organization's cleaner, the one trusted not because he is humane, but because he has perfected the art of functioning without humanity. Every so often, the series allows a glimpse into the emptiness behind the eyes.
Come on, Tony. Come on.
A fleeting menace when questioned by Tony, a cold stare before a killing, a sudden detonation of rage over something as trivial as a sports loss or a missing envelope. These moments puncture the assumption that Silvio is merely the calm one. Calm is not virtue. Calm is control. And control is what allows him to perform atrocities without flinching. The great irony is that he remains one of the show's most entertaining figures. His scenes are memorable, his lines often hilarious, his presence stabilizing. That is the point. The charm is the bait. The savagery is the hook. Silvio Dante is the series' most elegant demonstration of the gap between personality and morality, the embodiment of the unsettling truth that a man can be funny, composed, loyal, and still an absolute monster. Silvio's likability is not evidence of goodness. It is evidence of how easily charisma can disguise exploitation, of how violence delivered quietly is no less appalling than violence delivered with operatic cruelty, of how the reasonable man is often the most dangerous because he leaves no trace of doubt until the moment the woods appear outside the passenger window, and by then it is already too late. The genius of The Sopranos lies in forcing the viewer to confront that contradiction. Silvio Dante is not the exception. He is the rule, proof that in this world, even the friendliest face belongs to someone who will kill without hesitation, abuse without remorse, and smile while doing it. Charming, yes. Calm, certainly, and absolutely terrifying. Subscribe.